Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Olivier LEFAIVRE. I'm Business Unit Director of the Global Executive MBA program at NEOMA Business School. And today I'm pleased to facilitate this webinar with Maria RUIZ. Maria, please introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm sorry. I jumped in just right there. My name is Maria RUIZ Garcia. I'm from Spain. And I am a professor in finance, and I also had the MSc Finance, Investment and Wealth Management that encompasses a CFA track in the RUIZ campus.
Yeah, Maria, as a teaser, maybe you would like to say a few words about the content of today's presentation, very briefly.
Well, I think Olivier is first going to talk about the MBA and NEOMA Business School and the rankings and the campuses and the alumni. And then I am going to answer your questions about how to teach finance in the MBA and why finance is important. And I am also going to ask typical questions that I've had from students since I've been teaching in the MBA. I think it's been 15 to 20 years since I've had MBA students.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Maria. So as I said before, please feel free to ask questions in the chat box. We have a team today that are here to answer them. They will respond directly in the chat box. And from time to time, as Maria said, we will also pause to answer your question. So for clarity, the members of the team are called NEOMA is answering you on the chat box. So please feel free to ask questions, and you will probably have your question answered, or either Maria or myself will answer the question as well. Okay. Well, before we jump into the main topic of today's webinar with Maria, let me tell you a few words about NEOMA and our Global Executive MBA program. So I'm sure most of you or all of you knows NEOMA Business School, which is a major French business school, more than 150 years of excellence. You know, we have 3 main campuses in Rouen, Paris, and Reims. And NEOMA Business School was born from the merger of Reims Business School and Rouen Business School in 2013. Actually, we are the 2nd oldest business school in France, with almost 60,000 alumni in the world, one of the biggest networks in Europe. And as far as the EMBA is concerned, 40 years of history in delivering MBA degrees and more than 20 years in EMBA delivery. Next, please, Maria. Well, our Global EMBA program is designed for the new generation of leaders. And we have here gathered several key topics that need to be addressed today for your information. So number one, this program is a multidisciplinary high-level management training program, which is crafted to respond to current technological, societal, and behavioral disruptions. Number two, which is not the least, it's a transformational journey for each participant attending this program. It's also a unique personal development approach based on two main things. So number one is the individual coaching sessions, and number two is peer learning sessions. And last but not least, a strong regional anchoring with a main focus on NEOMA's ecosystem in its regions. So, of course, our goal for all participants is to make sure that these participants are well equipped to tackle the main societal changes. Next, please, Maria. So we have here addressed the main advantage and key benefits for this program in a nutshell. So, of course, this program is taught in English 100%. Duration is 15 months, as you can see on the right side. There are many things, but I had to help you to read this chart. So 15 months total duration of the program with 3 entry dates, June, October, and February. As I said, we have 4 campuses, Paris, Reims, Rouen, and Tehran in Iran. We have the chance to have a world-class faculty with, among others, Maria today.
Thank you.
Strong focus on CSR and a capstone project, which is I would say, the red line of the program. We have what we call international learning experience, which are study trips in different countries, including New York City and Accra in Ghana. In terms of rankings, we are ranked in main rankings in the world, including in the Financial Times, also in QS, EMBA. We are triple accredited, which is a fundamental, as you know, for such kind of program, with a triple accreditation with the EQUIS, ACSB, and EMBA. Last but not least, 3 additional information for you in terms of duration. So 4 days per month for this program, including 3 working days, which is also very likable for participants, is that we have in each cohort less than 30 participants per intake, which makes this EMBA a truly human experience, allowing participants to network and know each other. And the average student age is 39 years old. Next, please. Yes, with the 3 major ambitions of the program, which actually are the cornerstone, I would say, the cornerstone of our Global Executive MBA program. The number 1 ambition is change your mindset, which means that you're gonna explore diverse and even unexpected situation to enrich your vision and adaptability. Number 2 is ambition is be bold and innovate. And in the course related to this ambition, participants will be invited to leverage innovation and entrepreneurship to address an ever-changing world. And last but not least, and this is typically what will be most of interest for Maria, create value. And the goal of this ambition is to build value for multiple stakeholders and society at large. Next, yes. Please. Now we are going to unlock finance, Maria, with you.
Sure.
So we have prepared a few questions we would like to ask you, Maria, on finance.
Sure.
So maybe let's jump into the first question.
Yes.
Well, the first question is, why is it useful to learn finance when you are an engineer or sales manager or high-level sportsman woman, as an example?
Okay, so I'm sure this is a question. Well, first of all, welcome everybody. There are some of you that came in late, so I didn't have a chance to welcome you. And I think this question is a question that everybody asks himself or themselves. Why do we have to learn finance? In fact, a larger question would be, why do we have to do an MBA if I am an engineer or a sales manager or a high-level sportsman or woman? Well, it's useful to do an MBA if you want to move on to the next level. If you're an engineer or a sales manager, people often tell me, my MBA students often tell me that they find it hard to move on to management levels. So the MBA, the first thing they're going to provide is the movement to the management level. The second thing is that every MBA has financial courses. So ours is not an exception. You will learn about accounting, financial management, financial forecasts, and value creation from a financial point of view. And finance is key. I usually say we come in strong, we come in last, but not least. For example, let me show you a little graph that is going to enable you to see what I'm talking about. If you, for example, are creating a company, I'm talking about for example, the business plan that you will have to do. The first thing you need to do is to create a company is take a financing decision, which is how am I going to pay for this company creation? So that would be, am I going to raise equity from myself, equity from my family, from my cousins, from uncles, parents, or am I going to go to the bank and raise a loan? Then, I'm keeping with my example of creating a company, I am going to invest in assets. If I take the example of, in these coronavirus times, a company that wants to manufacture masks, they need to invest in a machine that is going to manufacture those masks. So that would be the investment decision that you Then someone muted me by accident. So once you have your investment decision, you're going to start operations. And the first thing you need to decide and you need to make is sales. You're going to make those sales based on a global analysis of the market. You're going to decide on prices. You're going to forecast quantities according to the industry, your strategy, and then from a macro and micro and micro analysis of industry. With sales come operating expenses, which I could get in there, and sales minus operating expenses are going to give you a net profit. Once we hope it's a profit, of course, and not a loss. Once we have that profit, we have to wonder what to do with that profit. First decision that you could make is we're going to allocate those profits to shareholders. Who is a shareholder? You, your family, your cousins, your parents, your uncles, aunts. Second possibility, instead of distributing dividends, you could reinvest that money of the net profit into the business. That is called organic growth. Because the cycle begins again, you're going to need to make more investments to finance, to pay for those investments. You need to wonder if you're going to do an additional fundraising through debt and equity, or if you're going to pursue organic growth. So in every business, the three questions, which are operating, investing, and financing, are key. Whether you have a small company, whether you have a large company, whether it's in the, I don't know, airline industry or in the masks manufacturing industry.
Thank you, Mara. Very interesting.
Thanks.
Second question. How does the typical EMBA finance course look like at NEOMA Business School?
Well, what I did here was prepare an overview of the finance courses in the MBA at NEOMA Business School. So what we do, we have a 4-step plan. It's really a journey. I think every MBA candidate is going to embark on a finance journey. I think it's a module, value creation, Oliver, is that it?
Yep.
Okay, there you go. So our 4-step plan that we have designed for MBA candidates is as follows. First, we start with the basics. Some candidates studied finance or accounting. No, first we start with financial reporting and accounting. So some candidates studied accounting and finance a long time ago, like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, even 15 years ago. Some others never ever did study any accounting at all. So the basics in the financial journey is financial accounting and reporting. So we have a e-learning course. So you don't need any face-to-face time amount. You're going to do it online with a teacher. That would be me, as a matter of fact. So this is going to update your financial reporting skills, or you're just going to acquire financial reporting skills. Then we move on to analyzing the financial information produced by companies. So see here that in the first class, you have learned how to make that financial information. In the second one, you're going to learn how to analyze financial information produced by companies. Then you're going to move on to investment decisions and valuation decisions on how to raise funds. So see that here you are in the investing and financial decision. And then in the 4th step, it's a wrap up. Here we interlink with the business plan, because a business plan is a very transversal activity. A business plan is designed to summarize, to link every course in the MBA, whether it's strategy, human resources, finance, marketing, and then one of them is finance. So we have a specific course, it's called Finance for the Business Plan, which is designed to help you and coach you build financial projections for the business plan. So I am going to go into a little bit of more detail for those 4 steps. So the first one is e-learning financial reporting. Again, this is to bring everybody up to speed so that everybody is on the same pace. Whether you did any accounting at all or whether you did it a long time ago, this course is for you. The learning objectives here are published information by financial companies, and of course, you're going to need to learn both several accounting systems. So for those who studied accounting a long time ago, I have brought this picture just specifically for you. See that it says debits and credits. Okay, so we're not going to do that at all. I promise you, this e-learning financial reporting course will have nothing to do with debits and credits, but it's more about storytelling. It's about how numbers tell the story of the company and about how you can see the strategy of the company and the activity of the company through the numbers. So in this course, you will learn how to read financial information, how to communicate. For example, if you are a project manager and you need to build or you need to analyze a budget, this is one of the objectives of this course. You will be able to read a budget. You will be able to deal with reports. You will be able to deal with corporate financial statements. Let's assume you work for a public company. Then you are dealing with public financial information. And if you work for a smaller company, a medium-sized company, then again, we're also dealing with this kind of information. And of course, you will be able to make decisions based on this information. For example, if you're a hospital and you need to decide whether your supplier needs to be supplier A or supplier B, this is what this course is about. It will enable you to decide which supplier you're going to decide to include in your listing. So the second class, the second step, okay, my second step is about financial management. This is a class we call the fundamentals. So in this class, we're going to assess a company's financial health from a 360 degrees overview. And you will learn, for example, profitability. That would be a shareholder's point of view. Shareholders always want to know if the company is profitable. They also want to know if the company is efficiently using the investments they made. And this is a completely different point of view from, for example, a banker's point of view. If you're thinking about asking for a loan, the banker is going to look at your liquidity and solvency, which is in short, your ability to pay back a loan or your ability to pay current or long-term liabilities. And of course, you will assess risks and you will learn that cash is king. We say cash management, but in cash, you will learn that cash is so much more important than profits. In this class, you will, so these terms, this vocabulary, these profitability, efficiency, solvency indicators will enable you to communicate with, let's call them financial individuals. So for example, if you need to communicate with an internal auditor, or if you need to communicate with an external auditor, or if you need to communicate with someone in management control, or if you need to communicate to anyone in finance, this is what this class is going to give you. Then also, let me paint you a picture. Oh, and of course, we will learn about IFRS as well as French accounting, because it depends on where you work. If you work in a public corporation, they're going to communicate in something called IFRS, which is International Financial Reporting Standards, which is in short, international accounting. And if you work for a medium-sized company, as long as you're not a subsidiary of a large group, you will probably be using French accounting. Both of them are different. What else did I want to say? Yes. And then let me paint you a picture. Here I wrote, I am going to enable you to challenge ratios and other indicators. You know, I talk to my students and they often tell me, oh la la, Maria, I often sit in, meetings for, with the directors, and they're going to throw a bunch of ratios at me, like return on equity and EBITDA and our cash flows and the PE ratio. And so without making you an expert in finance, this class is going to enable you to understand those presentations and even to challenge them, because you don't have the same way of calculating ratios or financial indicators in every single company. There is not a law that says how to calculate an indicator. Therefore, you can always challenge ratios, and you can always at least ask, yes, but how did you calculate it? Did you include this item in that ratio? And so on. And then the last class I'm going to talk about, because this is becoming a little bit long, is financial management value creation. That bears the name of the seminar. So this class is, you're moving from learning how to build financial information to analyzing financial information and making decisions on whether, for example, to invest or no in a company, to carrying out investment projects and how to raise funds for them, which is the financing decisions. So in this class, you will learn about terms such as CapEx, capital expenditures. Do we engage in CapEx? Do we invest or do we not invest? For example, another term, which is leasing. You will understand about leasing. Should we invest or should we lease? Which one is the cheapest? Which one is the one that brings the most value? How should we fund a project? Should we raise equity or should we raise debt, or should it be both? And then, of course, you will need to decide whether it is done with internal or with the external funds. And the biggest project of all is investing in a whole new company, not just purchasing a machine like my mask making machine, but to invest in a whole new company. And that is why you're going to learn how to value a company and analyze the value drivers of that company. So why would we need to calculate the value of a company? If I may, I am going to take the example of LVMH, which is a very well-known group, and how they purchased Tiffany a short while ago for $16.2 billion. So how did they come up with this price? Why did they purchase Tiffany for 16.2 billion? Because Tiffany, which is a listed company in the New York Stock Exchange, they didn't trade for 16.2 billion. They traded before the offer, maybe for 10 billions, 11 billions, 12 billions. So why did LVMH ended up paying 16.2 billion for Tiffany? What is the added value of Tiffany that makes a group such as LVMH want to purchase it for 16.2 billion? Well, and again, you're going to learn the story behind the numbers. Again, numbers, you have to decipher the strategy and the activity behind the numbers. Maybe we could take a question if there's any right now, or shall we just continue?
Any question, or otherwise we have another question?
Any questions?
Mm-hmm. Okay,
no?
very, very interesting, and it's very useful to learn finance with you, Marianne.
Sure.
Another question is, of course, we often listen to what we call key financial indicators. Could you explain us what the key financial indicators are, what they need to know, actually?
Well, that's a very good question, but it's impossible to answer. There are so many different key financial indicators according to the sector and the companies. It really is very different. The most common ones are the ones that you probably already heard of, which are cash flows, EBITDA, P&L, return on equity, the PE ratio, CapEx, the free cash flow to the firm, or the free cash flow to equity. So all I can tell you is that we deal with all those concepts in an easy way, in a very practical way. We make you use them, and we make you apply them, and we make you decide on them.
Okay.
Great.
Right. Well, in terms of going back to the EMBA, students need to work on a capstone project, which includes what we call a business plan. So what are exactly the expectations or learning objectives for this topic?
Well, the MBA students need to work on the business plan. And as I said before, this business plan is completely transversal. I think you chose it, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you chose it because it encompasses marketing, human resources,
Correct.
leadership, strategy, marketing, accounting, and finance, right, Oliver?
Correct.
Right. So what I can tell you is that how in finance we interlink with this business plan project. So, well, as I said, it's a transversality is the key word here. So where we come in finance is that we help you forecast financial information, because a business plan is the future. You're trying, I call this financial modeling. We're trying to forecast the future, and we're trying to translate into numbers that future. And this is called financial modeling. And of course, the model is going to be less perfect than reality. We're never going to be able to perfectly model the reality of the business plan of the company, but we do our best. So let me tell you a story I'm remembering about a student. See, I don't remember his name, but I remember he came to me to help him with his business plan. He was really tired of being employed. So he said, okay, I want to purchase a regional company, a medium-sized company. I think he was from RUIZ. And he said, I want to work for myself. I want to own my own company. So he reviewed many companies in RUIZ that were for sale. He settled on one that was a company on something medical. I don't remember if it was ambulances or medical material, or I don't remember. But what I remember is that he did his business plan, he did his research, he had really solid numbers, and so he presented his business plan to the existing shareholder. The existing shareholder, he was 75 years old, I think, and he wanted to sell. And nobody in his family wanted to take up the company. Nobody. So that was a great opportunity for this student. He purchased the company, he contacted the banker, he contacted other shareholders without promising a huge, times 20 profitability in the future. He was able to become his own boss. He became a CEO, a chief executive officer for himself. And the business plan was for that. And I remember helping him with the numbers. Olivier, that was, yes. Oh, yes. And I'm sorry. There you go. I forgot. So this is how we do it.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And so we do it through Excel.
Could you clarify this Excel sheet just to figure out what's inside?
Well, no, the only thing I wanted to say here is that the business plan, the financial forecast for the business plan, we do it on Excel. There's software that also does this, but the problem of the software is it's a black box. So you don't know what's really happening inside. So I do the financial forecast for the business plan with the MBA students. And what we do is we take Excel and we do a real case, and they build their own model with tons of tabs. And then they will be able to use it on their own business plan.
Great. Another question, maybe, you know that many of your students are probably afraid of numbers. So my question is, it's feasible to understand an MBA finance course if the participant didn't take any finance course before the MBA?
No, I was going to say not at all, and that I was just kidding, but it was a bad joke. So no, yes, of course. You need to remember that finance is a mind frame, is a mindset. It's not mathematics, it's numbers. So what's key to understand is that it's common sense, dosed with a lot of vocabulary, new vocabulary, and it's a system that doesn't have more complicated operations than additions, plus, subtractions, minus, multiplications, and there's a couple of divisions thrown in there, but that would be the most difficult, okay? And sometimes we will elevate numbers at the power of something, but Excel is going to do that for you. So what you need to understand is the logic of finance, but it's not mathematical at all. My only worry in finance classes is that I have so much to teach that sometimes I get carried away and I go too fast, but I'm working on it.
Maybe, Maria, would you recommend some readings, useful readings for
participants? Yes, right. So readings, we're 3 teachers in the MBA for finance, for the financial journey. And we decided upon one book, one unique book for all finance classes, which is Finance for Executives, Managing for Value Creation. This was written in English by 2 French, in fact. Claude Vialet, he's really French. And so this is the only book that you will have to buy. Otherwise, I recommend a website which is called the Vernimen. And of course, in the classes at the NEOMA Business School MBA, we have a lot of databases in which we have numbers, financial statements. We can download financial statements. We have press reviews and so on. But this is, no, we believe in books, and this is our reference.
Okay, great. Interesting.
Any questions?
Any question you may have?
Yes, we're arriving at the end of the presentation, which was really a dialogue between Oliver and me. Yeah. So are there any questions from any of you?
I believe in the room we have several non-financial people, correct?
Sure.
Who are interested in this webinar. So maybe any question you may have still, or did we answer all your questions?
See, I'm going to ask myself a question. I have every year, I have in between 1 or 2 students that have been in an LBO. Now, do I have to explain what an LBO is?
Please explain.
Yes, leverage buyout. Leverage buyout is a mechanism.
Yes, Maria. Can't hear you. Maria, you're on mute.
I don't think so.
Oh, yes, you did. Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
So every year I have a couple of students who have suffered through an LBO. And then they're very, very interested in learning about the LBO mechanisms. So that's one of the things that we learn in the 2nd or the 3rd classes about finance. And I see one question on the chat, but it was a private question to me. Anything to learn online to get ready, because this person is not a financial person? Yes. Yes, we can give you material to start learning online, but the main thing is that the e-learning class, which is the financial reporting and financial accounting class, starts from scratch, from 0, okay? We begin the class as if it was for very, very, very beginners. So you have nothing to know before, and you have in between 1 or 2 months, we give them in general, Oliver, 1 or 2 months to complete the e-learning course. And right. From there, you move on to financial management.
Yeah, I would add that. Yeah, sorry.
Yes, but this class is online, yes.
What we designed the program, we really made sure that we had both face-to-face courses and online courses, you know, what we call actually the blended learning sessions, you know, because not all the participants are able to attend the course face-to-face. So we, in addition to this, we offer them to participate online. before the class and after the class.
Yes.
Any other question? Okay,
yes.
we answered Malda regarding the number of intakes. So we have actually 3 intakes in October, February, and June. So the next one will be in October this year.
When is the value creation intake? The one that starts with value creation?
Yeah, we will start in October with the change of mindset, which is related to leadership. And then we will have create value in early 2021, okay, with your course, Maria, and also the corporate finance course.
Yes.
It will be between, let's say, February and April, with a trip to New York City, focusing on fintech.
Yes.
What level of Excel is recommended? Maria, could you answer this
question? Yes, I can. So basic level of Excel, I don't know, we require you to know how to copy paste, how to drag on the right, how to drag down, basic formulas such as sum and linking cells, linking from one tab to another. And in corporate finance, which is the advanced value creation financial management course, would be the third one. We teach you formulas such as net present value, NPV, internal rate of return. From my point of view, it is perfectly doable.
Oh, yes, it is. Did we answer your question, Pablo? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, right, great. Any other question? Any idea about commercials? So what do you mean the cost of what? Of the EMBA, or is it related to finance? Could you clarify your question, maybe, Malda?
So Pablo, where are you from?
Italy.
Yeah, we're cousins.
Our academic
Spain,
director is
Italy.
Italian as well. Our academic director is Italian as well.
Yes, that's a Spanish name, Pablo. Pablo is saying I have a Spanish name. Yes, that's what I was fooled into asking the question. Where are you from? You sound Spanish to me.
Maybe a question from Malda regarding the certification we get at the end of the program. It's a good question. So our program is certified with RNCP. That's it. We're very famous in France. And also we are accredited. So accredited, as I said, triple accredited with EURIZ, EMBA, and ASCSB. And in terms of certification, RNCP means that you can get your program funded by the CPF. If you have any fund on your CPF account, then it will help to get funded. Any other questions?
But I think in the end, Malda, I don't know where you're from, Malda. Well, I don't know where she's from, but what I was saying is that, yes, you get an MBA diploma, in fact. You're from Lebanon. That's a beautiful country. I've never been there. Yes, you get an MBA diploma, right?
Of course, of course.
Yes, which comes with the RNCP and with the accreditations and so on. Yes.
Of course, yes. So of course, why do an MBA will be a next webinar will be facilitating next month with together with Paolo Antonetti, who is the academic director of the EMBA, and why doing an EMBA is also to get higher in the position, to have a better position in the company, to have a better understanding of your organization, and to be more able, as Maria clarified, to have a better understanding of all the finance world, to be able to communicate, which is a key word that you used, Maria. Communication, it's key to be able to have a better communication with financial directors or financial departments, to understand figures, numbers, P&L, all the ratios and so on, and to have a mindset, which you stress as well, Maria, really a key mindset, which is journey
Yes.
that we offer in our EMBA.
Right. And I know finance scares some of you. I know it's difficult for some of you. All I can say is that during the time you're with me, which is the e-learning course and the financial management, one of the financial management courses, I am dedicated to for each one of my MBA students to learn finance and mostly to understand finance. In fact, how I assess my students is progress. If someone is here, I mean, I have a minimal level, of course, that everybody has to reach. But if you're here and you reach this point, is as good as if you're here and you reach this point. It's progression that counts for me. And I am really dedicated to that. And nothing makes me as happy as seeing someone who was in, I don't know, editing. We had a student last year. She was an editor at a French edition company. And she was happy that she really understood what finance is about.
Thank you very much, Maria.
Yes.
Any other questions? So just we have come at the end of the webinar.
Yes.
Any last?
These are our very happy students from a couple of years ago,
exactly.
Right?
During the graduation ceremony, or after the graduation ceremony, actually. Well, if no other questions, I would like to thank you very much attending this class today, this webinar. It's been a pleasure being with you today. And we hope that you liked this seminar, and we wish you a great day and speak to you soon, maybe. Thank you, Maria.
No, you're welcome. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.